On episode 188 of He Said, She Said Movie Reviews, we take a look at the movie Let Him Go. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with similar but different movie tastes take a quick, spoiler-free look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
I'd like to say we just watched Let Him Go, but we're kind of late on getting this episode out because I went on a fishing trip with April's dad to the Outer Banks. But here we go. We got to see a screener of Let Him Go. Thanks to Focus Features for letting us see this screener.
And thank you. We got to see it actually before it dropped, so it was a treat.
This is the story about a retired sheriff and his wife grieving over the death of their son, set out to find their only grandson.
The director was Thomas Bezucha. He's known for The Family Stone, Monte Carlo, and Big Eden. He also was the writer, and it's based off the book Let Him Go by Larry Watson.
This has a great cast in it. You have Diane Lane, Kevin Costner, Lesley Manville, Kyle Carter, Booboo Stewart, Jefferson Donovan, Will Brittain, Ryan Bruce, and Adam Stafford.
Good job, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, the runtime was 114 minutes. It's rated R for violence, and yes, there's a reason for that.
So I'll start off on this one.
All right.
Well, actually, we didn't even rate this one. What do you give it, April?
I'm going to give it a 3, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah, me too. It was a 3 for me. You know, I thought if you've seen the trailer for this movie looked really good. And I'll tell you, as a movie, it was done really well. The cinematography, we'll get into all this and everything. But for me, the story was a little bit, and I really did not like the ending of this movie.
Okay,
so I'm not going to spoil it for anybody,
no.
But I didn't like the ending.
I think it's fair. I thought the story was a bit unrealistic too, but there were so many things that were good about the movie. That's the problem. And yes, the ending was very tough.
But I really think this was one of those movies where the trailer looked so good.
Yes.
And it made this movie look so good.
Well, you know how excited I was.
We were both very excited. And I just don't think the movie lived up to our expectations.
No.
And I hate being overly excited for a movie.
Well, and I admit that for me, that was part of it. You know that. I mean, I was just so excited. But because I love Kevin Costner and I love Diane Lane. So speaking of that, this isn't the only movie that they lived on a farm and had one son. They were together. Do y'all remember? They were together in Man of Steel.
Yeah, with Harry Cavill, the Superman movie. So
that's right.
This had a very interesting theme. It was kind of, what are you willing to do / sacrifice for your family? Right?
Right. And I think that is what it's about. I thought the acting and characters were well acted.
Yeah, no complaints
there's
about
no
the
complaints.
acting.
Even I mean, all the way down to their mannerisms.
And the Wee Boys,
characters.
I loved the whole Wee Boys, who were the antagonists in this movie.
That's right. The direction was good.
If not great. I mean, once again, it was very well directed.
That's true. You made a good point, though, about the score. When you said a lot of the movie went without a score, the silence was noticeable.
Yeah, it was. It was really,
I agree.
It kind of freaked me out at times. It's like, wait, there's no background music going on. So it was a little,
True. But
disturbing.
The cinematography was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah. The scenes of Montana and South Dakota in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It was wintertime, right?
And just everything they did, wherever they were, including the production design, it really just felt like the 50s. You were right about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It was just...
My only problem, it kind of seemed to me like, and this is... For those of you who've listened to us, you know that we're both huge fans of Yellowstone with Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this movie almost seemed like a flashback scene from Yellowstone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kept on thinking that, okay, we're going to go forward now and we're going to be back at Yellowstone on the ranch and everything. I think they must have shot this in between episodes of Kevin Costner working on Yellowstone.
Well, you talked about good violence as special effects in this movie. What did you mean by that? Because I know you've said that.
Well, I mean, the movie was violent. It progresses into a very violent confrontation
Yeah.
between these two families, kind of a Hatfield-McCoy type of thing.
Right.
And they did a good job with the violence. That's all I was kind of saying that.
And the editing was okay, but the pace was slow. It's a movie that's slow, and I know it needs to build up. That wasn't my issue. I don't know. Between that, the storyline, the ending, that was hard for me.
It's one of those build-up movies. And I know that there's going to be people who disagree with us on our review on this, because some people like it was almost, I'm not going to say it was an art house type of movie, but it wasn't, but it kind of felt at times like that.
Yeah, a little bit. But I really enjoyed the marriage, the chemistry between Kevin and Diane. I think it's always good. But also it was interesting, their marriage, the little things, like when he did the cake.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some little things, but the dialogue, it's really between the main characters. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I thought it really did a good job of establishing the relationships.
Yeah.
Or in the case of Diane Lane and Kevin Costner's character, it was more about what they didn't say. They kind of had this...
Agreed.
As a married couple for a long time, they kind of had this silent way of communicating
and
each other.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
So, I mean, and that goes back to the acting. I think this movie was very well acted.
Oh, I do too. I mean, a shout out. I thought that... Costner and Lane both, they were the epitome of amazing actors. I mean, they always are, but in this movie in particular. So I had no issue with that. I wanted to do a shout out to Lesley Manville, who was in Maleficent, and she was also in The Crown. Right? She's creepy.
Yeah, she did a really good job of
scary.
playing the main antagonist. So the whole, like I said, the whole Wee Boy family, which is a last name I've never heard before until this movie, but it was a perfect name for this family of antagonists.
Right.
I thought they did a great job.
And I liked the relationship with the married couple met someone along the way on their journey, a young man, and I enjoyed that.
Okay, the way we're talking about this movie sounds like we should have given it more than a 3 stars.
I know. Our fans say that a lot. But anyway, I think it's worth seeing. I have my wishes about the ending and a little bit more about the story.
Yeah, I just didn't quite care for the story, and that's all. But other than that, I think it was a really well-done movie.
Absolutely. And I'm glad. I want to see them together more. So there we go.
All right, so Let Him Go. Both April and I give this 3 stars. Maybe we could have given it a 3.5, so I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, well, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this episode of the podcast. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate all the support you've given us.
We sure do. We thank you. We hope you stay very happy and healthy and very safe going into the holiday season.
And if you're in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. We're thankful and we're grateful for everybody. Thank you so much.
We'll see you at the movies.
See you at the movies.